Hi everybody, meet Len. Len is a blogger. A blogger is someone who writes articles and posts them online for people to read. Bloggers can write about any topic, like sports, music, restaurants, animals, or vacations. They can also use their blogs to teach or give advice, like how to train a new puppy. Some bloggers write about their own experiences. Len's favorite blog is written by a zookeeper named Sammy, who tells stories about the zoo's 80-year-old parrot, Helga. Len is a political blogger. This means he writes about politics, which are topics about the government. Len belongs to the Hopi Native American tribe, so he decides to write a blog post about the Hopi government. The Hopi's government is called the Council. The council makes important decisions for the villages on the Hopi Reservation. The Hopi Reservation is a piece of land the government gave to the Hopi tribe. Len's aunt Muna lives at the reservation. Len knows that Native American governments, like the Hopi Council, are all self-governing. This means they can make their own laws and elect their own leaders. Len wants to write about how the leader of the council, called the chairman, is elected. Len titles his blog, "Have you heard of the Hopi election?" First, he explains that a Hopi chairman stays on the council for 4 years. 4 years is also how long the President of the United States serves the American government. To run for Hopi chairman, a person must meet certain requirements. For example, a candidate must have lived on the reservation for at least 2 years. They also must be at least 25 years old. A candidate must also show how they are related in some way to one of the families whose names was included in the tribal roll of 1937. A tribal roll is like a membership list and shows who was living at the Hopi reservation. Len remembers from his grandparents that 1937 is an important year in the history of the Hopi people. This is when the Hopi Constitution was adopted. This document describes how the Hopi people would govern themselves. A candidate has to be able to speak the language. In his blog post, Len writes that in the 2017 election, 2 candidates were not allowed to run for chairman because they did not meet the language requirements. Len explains that a Hopi Native American must be registered as a voter in order to vote for the next chairman. It is the same with American citizens who must be registered voters in order to vote for the next president. To become a registered Hopi Indian voter, a person fills out a paper with their information, including their Hopi enrollment number, village, and parents' last names. Len writes that ballots are mailed out to all registered Hopi voters. A ballot is a slip of paper with the names of all the chairman candidates. A Hopi ballot has very specific instructions. First, a voter has to draw a line connecting the front and the back of the arrow that is next to the candidate's name. Next, the voter must seal their ballots into a secrecy envelope. This is to make sure that no one has changed or looked at the person's votes. The secrecy envelope gets put into another envelope that is mailed to the Secretarial Election Board, who counts the votes. Len writes that during the last election, he forgot to put his ballots into the secrecy envelope and had to redo them. Len also explains that a voter signs their name on the back of the envelope. The ballots must be mailed and received by the election board before the deadline. Len is excited to share his blog post about the Hopi election. He hopes it inspires his readers to learn more about Hopi culture. Now that you've learned about a blogger, it's time for you to start your own adventure.